Most beginners don't lose money because they picked the wrong investment. They lose money because they panic at the worst possible moment and hit sell. And here's what's scary. You can have a perfectly good plan. You can even know you should hold long term, and your brain will still scream, "Get out right now." In this video, I'm going to give you a simple mental system you can follow before the market ever drops. So you stop panic selling, stay calm, and actually let your money grow like it's supposed to. Let me paint the scene. It's a normal day. You open your phone just to check the weather or answer a message, and you see it. The market is down. Red numbers, big headlines. Everyone's suddenly an economist. People are tweeting, "This is the start of the crash." Your group chat is buzzing. And then you check your account, and for the first time, you feel it in your stomach. That small drop doesn't feel small. It feels personal, like you just made a mistake. So you do what most humans do when they feel danger. You try to escape. You don't call it panic selling. You call it being smart. You tell yourself, "I'm just going to wait until things calm down." You tell yourself, "I'll buy back in later." But later never comes, or it comes after the rebound. And that one moment becomes the moment your investing story quietly breaks. If you've ever done that, or even felt like you might, good, because it means you're normal. Your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do. The problem is, your brain was designed for survival in the wilderness, not survival in the stock market. Thousands of years ago, when your brain saw danger, it had one job: keep you alive. If a bush moved and you weren't sure if it was the wind or a predator, the safest choice was to assume the worst and run. That fear saved lives. The people who hesitated got eaten. The people who overreacted survived. Now fast forward to today. The predator is a red chart. The danger is a temporary drop. And your brain reacts the same way anyway because it doesn't understand markets.
It understands threat. This is why panic selling feels logical in the moment. It's not a money problem. It's a nervous system problem. So the goal of this video is simple. We're going to build you a beginner mental system that prevents panic selling before it starts. Not a complicated strategy, not a bunch of fancy terms. A system you can actually follow when your hands are shaking and your brain is screaming. And we're going to do it in 4 parts: the panic pattern, the safety rules, the drop script, and the autopilot plan. First, the panic pattern. Panic selling usually doesn't happen in one step. It happens in a loop. It starts with a trigger. You see a headline, you see red numbers, you hear someone say, "It's going lower." Then comes a feeling: fear, embarrassment, regret. Then your brain tries to protect you by creating a story. "I knew I shouldn't have invested. I'm not good at this. I'm going to lose everything." Then comes the action. You sell, or you stop investing, or you promise yourself you'll come back when it's safe. Then you feel relief, and that relief is powerful. Because relief tells your brain, "Good job, you escaped danger." And that's how the habit gets installed. That is the most important thing to understand. Panic selling is reinforced by relief. You sell, and the fear drops for a moment. So your brain learns that selling equals safety, even if selling is the thing that hurts you long term. So if we want to be panic selling, we don't argue with your brain during the panic. We design the system before the panic. That takes us to part 2. The safety rules. These are rules you set while you're calm, so you don't have to be strong when you're not. Rule number 1, only invest money you don't need for the next 12 months. This one rule removes half of panic selling, because the real reason people panic is not "the market is down." It's "What if I need this money soon?" If your rent, bills, or emergency is sitting in the market, every dip feels like a crisis. So you need a buffer.
A real one, not a fantasy one. If you don't have an emergency fund, your first investment isn't the stock market. Your first investment is stability, even if it's boring, because boredom is what keeps you invested. Rule number 2, decide your drop tolerance up front. Most beginners tell themselves, "I can handle risk," but they've never actually felt it. So we make it real. Ask yourself, if my account dropped 10%, would I still sleep? What about 20%? What about 30%? You don't need to guess perfectly, you just need an honest range. Then build your investing plan around that reality, not around your ego. Because if you invest like a brave person, but you feel like a terrified person, you will sell. Rule number 3, make your investing boring on purpose. Beginners think investing should feel exciting. That is the trap. Excitement makes you watch it. Watching it makes you feel every move. Feeling every move makes you react. Reacting is how you lose. The best investing plan is the one that makes you forget you're investing. That means simple, diversified, low-cost index funds for the core of your money. It means automatic contributions. It means less checking, less drama, less temptation. Rule number 4, you need a rule for when you are allowed to sell. Not whenever I feel like it, a real rule. For example, I only sell if my goal changes, I need the money for a planned life event, or my timeline is ending. Notice what's not on that list. Headlines, fear, vibes, Twitter, or a red chart. Selling should be a planned decision, not an emotional reflex. Now, part 3, the drop script. Because when the market drops, your brain will try to hijack you. You'll think thoughts that sound like truth, but are really fear in disguise. So you need a script, words you repeat when the drop happens. When you see red, you say, "This is what investing looks like." Not, "This is a disaster." Not, "I messed up." This is what investing looks like. Then you say, "My job is not to predict. My job is to stay in the game." Because beginners think investing is about being right. Real wealth is about staying in long enough for compounding to work. Then you say, "A drop is not a loss unless I sell." Because the market moving down is normal. But the moment you sell, you turn a temporary dip into a permanent mistake. Then you say, "If I keep buying, I'm buying shares on sale." When you're scared, you forget discounts. And finally you say, "I don't make big money decisions while my body is in the fear." If your heart is racing and your stomach is tight, you're not in a state to make a long-term decision. So you create a rule. When fear hits, you wait 48 hours before doing anything. No selling, no switching, no dramatic moves, just letting your nervous system come back online. Now, part 4, the autopilot plan. Because the ultimate beginner system is one where you don't rely on motivation, discipline, or willpower. You rely on structure. Step 1, automate your investing. Even if it's $25 a week, even if it's $50 a month, automate it. Why? Because automation removes the daily debate in your head. If you have to manually decide every time, fear will eventually win. Step 2, choose a simple 2-bucket setup. Bucket A is safety money, emergency fund, high-yield savings. Bucket B is long-term money, a broad index fund. If you want a third bucket later, fine. But beginners don't need 10 investments. They need one plan they can stick to. Step 3, set a checking schedule. If you check your investments every day, you will emotionally live inside the market. So set a rule. You check once a month or once every 2 weeks, whatever you can handle, but not daily. Because daily checking turns investing into a slot machine. Step 4, build your panic-proof environment. Unfollow accounts that post fear constantly. Stop watching videos that scream crash is coming every week.
Stop doom scrolling. You don't need more information. You need fewer emotional landmines. And step 5, decide your default action during drops. Your default action should be simple. Do nothing and keep your automatic investing running. That's it. Not because you're ignoring reality, but because you already chose your plan when you were calm. Now, I want to give you one more moment, because this is the moment that changes everything for beginners. If you could go back and watch the investing journeys of most wealthy people, you'd notice something. They didn't win because they avoided every crash. They won because they didn't get knocked out by them. Markets go up and down, always. But your wealth is not built by the days that feel good. Your wealth is built by the days that feel terrible when you stay consistent anyway. Every time the market drops and you don't sell, you're training a new identity. You're becoming the kind of person who can hold, the kind of person who can stay calm, the kind of person who can play the long game. And that identity is worth more than any stock tip. Because once you have that identity, you can invest $100, then $1,000, then $10,000, without your brain sabotaging you every time the chart turns red. So, let's bring it all together. Your beginner mental system is this. You invest only what you don't need soon. You keep a real emergency buffer. You choose boring, diversified investments. You decide your selling rules in advance. You use a drop script when fear hits. You wait 48 hours before any big decision. You automate your contributions. You check less often. You protect your environment. And when the market dips, your default action is simple.
stay in the game. Because the market is not your real enemy. Your real enemy is the part of your brain that confuses discomfort with danger. And once you see that, you stop fighting the market, and you start building a system that makes you unstoppable. If you want, drop a comment and tell me, what's your biggest fear when it comes to investing? Is it losing money? Is it looking stupid? Is it not knowing what to do? And if this video helped you feel calmer about starting, subscribe, because we're going to keep building simple money systems that protect you from the mistakes most people never even realize they're making. You don't need to be fearless to build wealth. You just need a plan that works even when you feel fear.